So we're using the collet chuck now to do the other side. This is a hardened collet chuck that takes a 2J style of collet there. For those that are not familiar with this, it is a direct mount. The Victor uses a D16 direct mount spindle. So we're going to face this off. We're going to go ahead and stick it all the way in there. We got our 3/4 collet, and actually let's give myself enough room here to be able to measure this with their calipers. So something about like that. All right. Hopefully that'll be tight enough. Let's see. Looks like it's running nice and true. So the total length that we're going to face it to will be 1 7/8. So we got not quite a 1/16 to come off of that. Go ahead and grab the screw here. So you're going to have the thickness of where the nut's going to be machined here is 9/16 or about 5/62. All right, we'll turn it down. I don't want these. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. I was thinking reduce the diameter of the corners there, so that's about 1.430. So we'll machine it to about that right there, where this nuts, the hex, are going to be machined. So what you can do, just touch off, and we already know we got about 60 or so, so I'll just take half of it. And then just do another measurement on it, take whatever else is left over. And that's actually not much, about 14. So we'll go 14,000. So I'm going to use that DNMG 432. We're going to see how it'll do. So I'm just using my hook scale to get my tool set just above 9/16, which is the thickness of that, and I'll come in there and face it out to the right thickness. Well, let's see how everything's going to work out here. Yeah, it's looking good. All right, Brian, you like straight down? You like the chips to go straight down like me? I think you need to get you some of these. Alright, we got everything slowed down, or feed rate anyway. I got that shoulder face where I need to. And I'm taking a light cut here, and then we're going to mic it, bring it down to 3/4 on our last finished cut here. That's good. This is the part that's going to screw into the vertical head. We'll have an undercut here as well, you know, and thread it up to the shoulder. So it looks like we got about 45 thousandths. 25, 35. We got about 47. Alright, that puts me 3 thousandths under right there. We'll go ahead and use the same. We'll use the same radius tool here on that parting blade, and we're going to do the same thing as we did before. Come in here, and I believe I said 130. Let me look at my tool again. 130 thousandths. All right, there's our 0. I want to give myself plenty of room to run out through the undercut here. Just getting everything cleaned up now. We'll back out. We'll go ahead and get this diameter turned right here. We're going to make it 1.425. So we got about 75 thousandths to come off of it. I'll just take about half of it. Make it 2 cuts here. Okay, 25 plus 3, so we got 28 thousandths. $425. I don't know if this one's going to reach on this back side. Yeah, I'm going to have to pull it out to get that one, but we'll go ahead and chamfer these 2 here. Alright, time to thread. Alright, we're ready to thread this other side here. We've got our cross feed set to 0 and our compound set on 0. We've got our nut there we're going to use to check our threads. Already got everything ready to go, so we'll dial in 2 and make a scratch pass and check everything. Okay, we got her set right. I did slow it down on this cut just because I'm so close to that shoulder. We're not gonna try to hot dog it as much this go around. But we're getting real close. We ain't got much thread to cut here. Now I'm backing off on these last few passes here, just try to make a nice cut on there. This should leave us with about 5 thousandths to come off. Go ahead and test it, but I'm sure it's going to be a little snug. Yeah. All right, let's try that one. That's a good fit. All the way up. Alrighty, so just like before, we'll do a little bit of filing and blending there. Just to break the sharp edges. Okay. So I do need to pull it out. Just a little here. And I'll chamfer that back side that I missed earlier because it was too close to the chuck. Alright, there we go. Alright, from here we're going to take it over to the milling machine. Probably going to use a 5C collet block to mill this hex in it. So we're going to do the milling in the K&T here, and we're going to use a 5C collet block. So I wanted to show this again for all the people that hasn't seen this yet. So you have another series of collets and the size of 5C. This is a 3/4 collet. That's the style of collet, is a 5C. And then you have these blocks. So this one's a hex block, and I have another one that's a square block. And it makes it really easy to hold things to do 2 flats or 4 flats, or in this case 6 flats. So you just stick the collet in there and line it up with the set screw there with the keyway. That keeps it from rotating. And you just slide your workpiece in there, and then you have a spanner nut on this end. And what I like to do is set it down in the vise like so, and just kind of snug the vise, and go ahead and tighten it up. I want to make sure that I'm away from the collet though, so I got a little space there so the end mill doesn't hit the collet. And lock her up. Alright, that should be enough torque there. And now you've got it fixed. Here, I'll turn it so you can see. You know, we'll be milling this part here. So once you get your depth set on your first pass, then you loosen it up and you keep dropping it in place, and you'll end up doing that 6 times to create your hex. So that's what we're about to do now. I'm going to come up and touch the part, and we got to bring it up 87.5 thousandths is the correct height to bring it, and on both sides that'll equal 1.25 inches left over. Alright, so we got one side cut there, and what I'll do, I'm loosening the vise here. I'm going to go ahead and rotate it 180. we'll cut the other side and I'll measure, see if we hit our mark like we want. Alright, so I'm getting 1.248. So I think that's well where we need it there. So now all we got to do is just rotate it 4 more times and we'll have our hex machine. I'm just feeding it by hand too, by the way. Okay guys, there we go. There's our hex. So I need to pull it out of the collet. I want to go over there, probably put it back in the lathe and do some chamfering on the corners here. Okay, back over here to the lathe. We're going to do our next stop right here using the piece that we just machined. I went ahead and got the 2 edges chamfered. And usually what I like to do whenever I do like a hex like this to make it look like a nut, I usually use a threading tool. So I just used my same threading tool and went in there and just undercut it till it started cutting a full circle on those flats. And that usually kind of matches up to what a factory nut looks like. So I'm going to use this as a mandrel instead of making one. I'm going to go ahead and put one of these nuts on there first as a backup. And then so this is the side that we're going to cut the 45-degree bevel on. I'm going to go ahead and run that up there and jam it up against it. Alright, that should be good there. It's trying to twist in the collet now. And you see the face kind of running out a little bit there. So I'm going to turn this compound. I'm going to swing this compound around 45 degrees and we'll go in there and we'll manually cut that 45-degree angle on there. I'm using me a high-speed tool in this Armstrong holder and we're ready to go. We've got it set on 45 degrees here. So let's get it cut. Yeah, that's looking pretty good there. All right. I think that might work right there. Let's go ahead and go check it out. I decided to go ahead, I'm going to square up all sides of those nuts there, just to make it look, make it like it's supposed to be machined, you know. And you can see where it was, that face was wobbling just like the other side was there. You do it this way, and then the nuts will seat up nice and square to each other. Not that this is a super important part that's going to require stuff like that, but it's just always a nice touch. There's a little bevel on this side too. There we go. All right, now let's go check it out. All right, I went ahead and faced the back side of that nut as well and had it both sides true to the threads. And what I plan on doing is go ahead and doing the same thing with the other nut that's going to back it up right there and relieve it with a little bit of a chamfer there, just to make everything look good and match. And then again, I'm gonna do a little step on this also, where it's gonna come in here and line up with the counterbore here. So we got our conical nut first, and then we'll have another lock nut behind it, and it's going to sit on there just like that and match up to that chamfer and allow a little bit of rotation there. So I think the brass is a nice, elegant, industrial look to it. I'm glad that I had those around here. Actually, let me take these back off and go ahead and put the other one on here. We'll kind of see what it looks like with it all together. So it'll be about like this here. There we go. I guess you can see that. Isn't that sweet? Looking good. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and go back to the lathe with all this and finish out facing these other brass nuts here. Just flipping it around and doing both sides, doing all four sides of these other two nuts here. Might help if I face it first like I wanted. Alright, we got all the brass nuts cleanly faced and looking good now. Only other step that I got to do for this is drill that little hole in the end for a little roll pin, and I'll just do that later off camera. You guys know about that. Put it in the vise. We'll use that same collet block to hold it, and I'll center it up and just drill a little hole, probably like a 1/8 or a 5/32. So let's go ahead. Both of these ended up just being about the same thing, so I'm just going to go ahead and Oh wait, not that side. It's going to be that side. This one goes all the way down. Alright, then we have our cone shaped. And then we're going to have our lock nut on top of that. Now I will say I'm going to polish these things out. We've got some metal polish. We've even got some that's been given to us viewer mill that I haven't used yet, so I might pull that out and give this brass a nice polish on the outside and really try to make it bling some. Okay, so there we go. Right, so when we're ready to, once this is hanging your vertical head, you'll push that up in there. And I didn't grab the 1¼ wrench, but you can stick your wrench in here and then screw that one down. And of course this is going to be, you can hold it here and you'll lock this one. There we go. So you'll lock this one down, snug it up, and then it's all held in there together. It can't go nowhere. All right, I think that's enough for this segment here. We're making progress. We got just a little bit more to do. We still got the other pin to make for the back end of the attachment here. So that's going to be the next step. So we'll see you on the next video, okay?